Here's something nobody tells you about entrepreneurship. The smartest people often stay broke the longest. Not because they're not talented, not because they're not working hard, and not because they don't have good ideas, but because they fall into what I call the DIY trap. They basically think, I'm smart, I can figure this out. Sound familiar, right? Or they would say something like, why would I pay somebody else to do something I can learn myself? And that mindset, that logical, intelligent, resourceful mindset, it's exactly what keeps them stuck at $5K a month when they should be doing $50,000 a month. And in this video, I'm going to expose the biggest lie smart entrepreneurs tell themselves. I'm going to show you why doing everything yourself is actually the most expensive decision you can make. And I'm going to show you what finally broke me out of this trap, because I was stuck in this mentality too. And here's the truth. Your intelligence is your biggest asset, but it can also be your biggest liability. So let's dive right in. Let me paint you a picture. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're an entrepreneur, you're smart, you're capable, you're a quick learner. So when you need something done in your business, your first thought is, I can probably figure this out. Need a website? I'll watch some YouTube video tutorials and build it myself. Need to run ads? I'll take a course and figure out Facebook ads myself. Or need a funnel? I'll learn ClickFunnels. How hard can it be? Or maybe need to do your bookkeeping? I'll just use QuickBooks. I'm smart enough to handle it myself. Or maybe you're thinking about email marketing and you're basically saying, I'll set up the automation sequences myself. And here's the thing, you can figure it out. That's not the issue. You're smart enough to learn Facebook ads. You're capable enough to build a website, and you're resourceful enough to set up an email sequence. But here's what you don't realize. Every hour you spend learning something that's not your genius zone is an hour you're not spending making money in that genius zone, right? And that is the DIY trap. It's not that you cannot do these things, it's that you shouldn't do these things. Because while you're spending 40 hours learning how to build a website, somebody else spent those 40 hours closing 50K deals and paid somebody $2,000 to build that website. You saved $2,000, they made $50,000. Who is actually winning here? Let's do some real math here, because this is where the DIY trap gets really expensive. Let's say you're making $25,000 a month right now. That's about $300,000 a year if I did my math correctly. Now, let's say you're thinking about hiring somebody to run your ads. They want $3,000 a month, and your brain immediately goes, $3,000 a month? That's $36,000 a year. I cannot afford that. I'll just learn it myself. So you spend the next 3 months learning ads. You watch courses. You run tests. You make mistakes. And you lose money on bad campaigns while you slowly figure it out. Congratulations. You just spent 3 months and thousands in wasted ad spend to save $9,000. But here's what you didn't calculate. In those 3 months, what if an expert could have generated an extra $20,000 in revenue, an extra $50,000, an extra $100,000? What if instead of spending 20 hours a week learning ads, you spent those 20 hours closing sales, building partnerships, or creating new offers? The opportunity cost isn't the $3,000 a month you're saving. It's the $10,000 plus you're not making because you're focused on the wrong things. This is why this is what smart entrepreneurs, they don't understand this. Saving money by doing it yourself is actually the most expensive decision you can make, because your time isn't free, your attention isn't unlimited, and your energy is your most valuable resource. Every hour you spend doing $20 an hour tasks is an hour you're not spending working on $1,000 an hour task, right? And that math will keep you broke forever. But here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. It's not just about the money. There's something deeper going on. You don't believe that you can fix this problem on your own, or more specifically, you don't believe that paying somebody else is better use of resources than figuring out yourself. And this is what I call the doubt belief. And in my sales framework, well, basically in my sales framework, that's what I call the doubt belief specifically. And it's one of the biggest obstacles entrepreneurs face, right? Because you think something on the lines of, and I do this all the time, right? Nobody will care about my business like I do, which is true. Okay. Or alternatively, I need to understand every part of my business. Or what if they do a bad job and I waste money? Or I'm smart enough to figure this out. Why do I have to pay somebody else to do this? And look, I get it. Some of these concerns are valid, like I mentioned, but here's what you are missing. Every hour you spend trying to become an expert in something that you're not an expert at is basically that hour that you're stealing from a part of the business where you are a superhero and where you are in your zone of genius, right? So if you're a genius at sales, you should be selling. If you're a genius at creating content, you should be creating. If you're a genius at building offers, you should be building offers. But instead, you're spending your genius level brain trying to become mediocre at 15 different things at once. You're not delegating. You're not investing in help. You're trying to be a one-man army. And that works if you're doing 5K a month. But that's exactly what keeps you stuck at that level. Because here's the truth. Every successful entrepreneur you admire, they have a team. They have support. They have people handling things that just isn't in their genius zone. And they didn't succeed by doing everything themselves. They got successful by doing only the things that they're uniquely great at and letting other people handle everything else. That's not being lazy. That's being strategic by leveraging other people's time, and that's how you can truly scale. Now here's where things get interesting. Everything I just said is about delayed gratification, right? Invest now, profit later. Spend money on help now, make more money later. And delayed gratification is important in business. It's crucial. Reinvesting your profits, building the systems, hiring before you're ready, that's how you scale. But here's the paradox that took me years to understand. You also need to celebrate wins and enjoy life along the way. Because here's what nobody talks about. You don't know when it is your last day. I've had friends pass away alongside this journey that we call life. People I thought would be here forever. And people who were grinding just like me. And, oh gosh, people, who were delaying gratification, basically saying, I'll enjoy life when I hit my goal. And then they never got there. And that taught me something very crucial and critical. You cannot delay life forever waiting for the right time to enjoy it. Yes, reinvest in your business. Yes, delay some gratification. Yes, make some strategic investments. But also celebrate the wins. Take that trip. Enjoy that milestone. Don't wait until some arbitrary future date to start living. Because if you're always waiting for the next goal, the next milestone, the next level, you're not actually living. You're just surviving on the treadmill. And the key here is finding the balance. Reinvest in your business and celebrate your wins. Delay gratification for business growth and enjoy things along the way. Be strategic about money and appreciate the money you're making. This isn't about being reckless with money. This isn't about spending, everything you make. This is about recognizing that life is happening right now, not some future date when you finally make it. So yes, hire the ad manager. Yes, invest in the funnel builder. Yes, get the help you need in business. But also, when you hit a milestone, celebrate it. Take your spouse out. Buy yourself something nice and acknowledge the win. Because delayed gratification without any gratification, that's just suffering. And life's too short for that. Now here's where the rubber meets the road. Because you need to get this right, or everything else basically falls apart if you don't get this right. And in business, it is critical to reinvest your profits and keep your personal and business finances separate. This is a non-negotiable. This is where most entrepreneurs F up, okay? And this is what keeps most people broke even when their business is making money. And here's what I see all the time. An entrepreneur makes 30K in revenue. They take home 25K in personal income. They leave 5K in the business, and then the next month they need to spend 10 grand on ads, basically 3K as a contractor, $2,000 on softwares, and they have no money because they took it all out. So they stress, they scramble, they cannot invest in growth, and they stay stuck. Or even worse, they put the business expenses on a personal credit card. And now they can't even tell if the business is profitable or if they're just bleeding money. And here's what you need to do instead. Step number 1. Set up a separate bank account, one for business revenue and the other one for personal expenses. Step 2, pay yourself a salary. Decide on a reasonable amount that you need to personally need every single month and transfer only that amount to your personal account. Leave everything else in the business account. Step 3, reinvest profits strategically. Ads that generate ROI, team members that free up your time, systems that create leverage, tools that increase efficiency. Spend money on those aspects. And number 4, build up your business reserve. At least 3 months of operating expenses. This gives you the stability and reduced anxiety when things might not go as you want it to go, right? And this is what allows you to make strategic decisions and basically instead of desperate ones, right? And when you do this right, here's what will happen. Your business can actually grow because you're reinvesting, and your personal life is stable because you have predictable income. Now you're not stressed about money because you know what's basically, what's your business money and what's your personal money specifically. And you can celebrate wins because you've allocated money for that. Now, mixing personal and business finances is like trying to dive in with a parking brake on, or trying to drive with a parking brake on, right? You might move forward, but you're working way harder than you need to and damaging your engine in the process itself. Here's the final thing I need you to understand. The smartest entrepreneurs aren't the ones that can do everything. They're the ones who know not to do everything, right? You're smart. I get it. You figured this out, and you can figure it all out. Facebook ads, you can learn web design, you can master email automation, I get it. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. Real intelligence is knowing where to focus your energy. And real intelligence is knowing when to let go. The DIY approach keeps you broke because it spreads you too thin. You become mediocre at 10 things instead of excelling at one thing. And in business, excellence at one thing beats mediocre at 10 things every single time. So yes, be smart with your money. Yes, reinvest profits. Yes, keep business and personal finances separate, but also recognize that the fastest path to wealth isn't doing everything yourself. It's focusing on your genius zone and getting help with everything else. That's not being lazy, that's being strategic. That's not wasting money, that's reinvesting in leverage. And that's not giving up control, that's gaining freedom. And here's the beautiful thing. When you break free from the DIY trap, when you start focusing only on your highest value activities, when you build a team around you, you don't need to make more money. You also get your life back, right? So you don't only make more money, but you also get your life back. It is a win-win. And again, you'll have time to celebrate your wins. You have the energy to enjoy your journey, and you're not drowning in tasks that somebody could do better and faster than you. And that is when entrepreneurship that's basically why you started this whole journey, right? Is for that freedom. Now, I want to leave you with this. Life is short. Shorter than any of us want to believe. I've lost friends who were grinding just like me, who were delaying gratification, who were waiting for the right time to enjoy life, and they never got there. So yes, reinvest in your business. Yes, get the help you need. Yes, break free from the DIY trap, but also celebrate the wins along the way and enjoy the journey. So I really hope you got some sort of value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.